Hey, welcome to World Entertainment, and we got some Doctor Who news. Yes, because Russell T Davies has done an interview, and he's kind of hinting at what the possible future of the show could be, in terms of will it be on Disney Plus exclusively, or will it still have a home with the BBC? And there's kind of shade thrown here and there, which you'll see in regards to the BBC possibly collapsing very soon, and I don't think they are going to be overly happy with hearing Russell T Davies say this. But he also says something interesting about his contract and how he plans to work, which is also quite strange. But we'll have a look at this article over on comicbookmovie.com that has this up. So its headline says, Doctor Who showrunner Russell T Davies explains why Disney is crucial to the Sci-Fi franchise future. So since its 2005 relaunch, Doctor Who has been produced by the BBC. The broadcaster is publicly funded in the UK through a TV licence, which is mandatory to watch the BBC and live television. It's as ridiculous as it sounds. But the rise of streaming and a general unhappiness over those increasing fees will likely lead to its eventually being scrapped. Anyone outside of Europe and stuff about TV licenses? Yes, the UK has a TV license. From what I understand, the British government are trying to scrap it. I think they gave a date of like 2027 when they want it completely scrapped. If you don't pay it, they can threaten you with the police, and you're just like, yeah, off you go, get off me property. I think it's one of these, if you don't actually watch the BBC, you don't have to pay that license. So where it's saying mandatory, I'm not sure. In Ireland, we have the TV license as well, and they keep screwing around with it. Like, it goes up all the time in price. It's ridiculous. It's incredibly expensive. It's €165 a month for a TV license. In the UK, it's £159, which is ridiculous as well. But in Ireland, it is, man. And if you turn around and say, I don't have a TV, they'll say, do you watch anything on your phone? If you say, yeah, well, you have to pay a TV license. You can argue with them saying, why would I pay a TV license when I don't have a TV? And then they try and switch the narrative and say, well, it's not a TV license, it's a broadcasting license. There's no such thing as a broadcasting license. Go into your post office and ask for a broadcasting license. They'll tell you there's no such thing, it's a TV license. And then you say, give us that in writing so when I go to court. Because yes, in Ireland we get taken to court and fined for not paying TV licenses. But we'll continue anyway. That was this little sidebar on this story regarding TV license. So, what that means for the BBC and the shows which call it home is unclear. The Whoniverse, yes, they are starting to call it the Whoniverse. Latest creative overhaul, which has seen Russell T Davies return as showrunner, is being co-produced by Disney, meaning the franchise's future no longer hinges on the BBC's continued existence. After all, there's now a scenario where if BBC gives up on the show, it could become a Disney Plus exclusive. As you might expect, that's left fans concerned about what will happen to Doctor Who down the line. And talking to They Like to Watch, Davies opened up on Doctor Who's future. And he said this: you've got to look in the long term at the end of the BBC, which is undoubtedly on its way in some shape or form, he explains. Is Doctor Who going to die then? No. You've got to prepare for that kind of stuff. So there, when you hear him saying the undoubtedly end is on its way for the BBC, I don't think the BBC are going to be too happy with him saying that. So it says Disney's involvement has also led to a significant budget increase for Doctor Who, a big change from Davies' previous stint as showrunner, when a lack of funds clearly held the ambitious sci-fi series back. Davies said Disney has helped bring Doctor Who up there with the big hitters, but notes, if Disney collapsed tomorrow and we had to go back to making Doctor Who on a normal BBC budget, you know what? We'd all rally around and make it, and suddenly the stories would become claustrophobic ghost stories. A lot of people would like that very much, so I'm not saying you have to have this happen, but while it's happening elsewhere, I think it's unfair that it doesn't happen to Doctor Who, he said of the show taking advantage of Disney's input. The way everything there is phrased is a bit strange. He's saying you have to take advantage of Disney's input. What input? It's money. They're talking about the budget. Here's a massive budget for you. Go nuts. It's also funny that he's saying, should Disney pack up tomorrow, would we stop? No, we would just make it smaller, make it more intimate. And yet at the same time he's saying that the BBC is undoubtedly going to collapse. So that would be the end of Doctor Who. So when he's talking about you'd have to be prepared for this kind of stuff, how do you prepare for two companies to collapse? You know what I mean? That's just ridiculous. But we'll continue because it goes on. Ultimately, what comes next for Doctor Who will hinge on the BBC's evolution and those all-important streaming numbers on Disney+. Either way, Davies, who is already working on a third season, is free to walk away from the show whenever he pleases. Now this is the part about this weird contract he says he has. And he says this, it's kind of a rolling contract. It's very free. Look, if I had enough tomorrow, I could walk out. Well, I wouldn't walk out because I wouldn't let people down. But nothing could trap me. I would never be in a situation where I had to write things. I'm talking as though that's about to happen. That's not about to happen. I love it, but oh my god, I'd never be stuck sitting somewhere going, I must do 5 years here. Never. I'm too old for that now. So, you're hearing that apparently this contract, which makes no sense, that he can walk away whenever he wants. That, I don't think that would include him not having to adhere to any stipulations they put in. We want the show to be this and we need it done by then. That doesn't sound like something that he could just get up and walk away from. And when we're going back to the future of Doctor Who, well, it clearly hinges on Disney. Disney in the sense of Disney's money. And they brought up the streaming numbers. If Doctor Who doesn't even make a dent on Disney Plus, and I don't think it's going to, because it is now the exclusive home to Doctor Who in the US, I don't see Disney continuing with it. Why would they? Or at least pumping that type of money in there. So you're really going to end up losing that Disney money. And they're going to obviously have to put their input in, which they're clearly taking. Let's put it this way. We already have the new companion gone to bring in another one. They got rid of the white girl to bring in a brown girl. And it's literally so they can say we have a non-white TARDIS. We know that's going to start being said. But everything really is relying on Disney. More so that Disney money. You know, obviously the BBC aren't putting anything into this. Think of it this way. Think of Star Trek Discovery's first season that CBS couldn't actually afford to make it. But then Netflix took a contract to show it internationally, and they gave them a number and they paid it, and they inadvertently, unknown to Netflix, paid the entire cost of what that series cost. Without that money, Discovery couldn't have been done the way it was done. Like, in terms of the promotion they ended up pushing out for it and all that crap, and they definitely wouldn't have had a season 2, but Netflix inadvertently paid for it. Same thing's happening here. Disney is paying for this Doctor Who, all this new Doctor Who. It's not the BBC. The BBC can't afford to do it. And realistically, can Disney? And if those numbers on Disney Plus come in when this thing drops in, I think it's May that it drops, I think you're going to see Disney kind of going, I think we bit off a bit too much here. Maybe we shouldn't invest so much money into this. Especially when Bob Iger's out there saying it's going to be about quality over quantity. We'll wait and see what happens with this one. But there you go. The future, apparently, of Doctor Who lies solely with Disney and Disney's checkbook. And with that, I will leave it there for this one. So cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.